Hi everybody, and welcome back to Community Highlights, where we talk to members of the Sacramento Comedy Spot community about their improv journeys. Jordan, thank you for joining us.
Of course, I'm happy to be here.
Wonderful. Okay, so you've been at the Comedy Spot for a little bit of time now, but I understand that you have improv and acting experience from before.
So my first improv experience was actually in like 5th grade.
Wow, okay.
Illinois Elementary School Association has a speech contest.
Okay.
And it's a bunch of different categories, and one of those was duo improv. We were given a suggestion, just partner stuff. You can't teach an old dog new tricks was something that we did. And I remember this distinctly because I tried to teach my dog to do clap push-ups, and I fell on my face. So I got hurt at a competition, but that was my first improv experience.
Wow.
I did musical theater, I acted in college. And then I stopped for a while. And then in the pandemic, I was like, I got to do something. I miss performing. And I ended up doing Second City online.
Whoa, cool.
Yeah, it was a unique experience.
Okay.
The online format is a little funky. And as soon as things opened up, I just Googled Sacramento Improv and found this place.
Here we are.
And I've been taking in-person classes and performing here since then.
That's awesome. What musicals were you in?
So I did High School Musical was my first one.
High School Music. Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, High School Musical. I did a production of The Emperor's New Clothes.
Okay.
And then Footloose was the big one I did.
I was also in Footloose in high school. I played the principal, I think.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah. I love that movie and the musical. It was a fun time.
Nice. Okay, so you took classes, and you have a couple shows that you're in right now.
I've got 2 shows that I produce, and then I'm also one of the main cast on a musical show produced by Dana Bryant. So that show is Meet Cutes. So we do basically it's fan fiction, the musical. It's
very fun.
It's very fun. It's very goofy. We're just having a great time. We just get suggestions of characters that people want to see. Have like a meet cute, and we speed run a rom-com in 25 minutes.
Yeah, I was really impressed with the beat structure of the show. I believe that you were Gandalf in the one that I watched.
I was Gandalf, and Dana was Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Wow. A love story for the ages. But doing narrative in such a short period of time is really difficult, and I was very impressed with how the cast hit each scene, and I could tell this is the purpose of this scene. This is what's supposed to happen. Absolutely.
Yeah, we definitely borrowed a lot from the narrative class that's taught here by Dustin. Hint, hint. They definitely shaped that show, and we were like, hey, what's important to a rom-com? Let's just map that over and do something really, really goofy.
That makes sense. Okay, talk about your other shows.
Yes, so the 2 shows that I produce are the Sac Buzz, which is a weird news-inspired improv show, and then Uncharted Territory, where we use the audience to create random charts about unrelated things, and we explain to the audience why they are, in fact, related. I
really enjoyed when I watched Sac Buzz, kind of because the person who brings the headline knows what it is, but the other cast members don't. It was a really fun audience cast member experience to hear these wild headlines and be like, you simply have to tell me what was going on here.
Yeah, and that's a really cool thing we wanted to capture, was just to have just the headline, just a little teaser, and see what is the audience going to latch onto. And we kind of let the audience decide, through a round of applause, what stories they want to hear, and then see scenes inspired by those stories.
Nice. You were wearing a Newsy outfit, I believe.
I was. I went full Newsy. I had my little vest on, a little flat cap, and everything. I went all out.
I was very into that movie growing up, so.
I think a lot of us were.
People who are into improv and musical theater, and the overlap with people who are into Newsies, that makes sense. If you don't know, Newsies is a 1992 Disney movie musical that did really bad at the box office. Christian Bale stars in it. He was 17. It's amazing, and it's on Disney+. Okay, so that's Sac Buzz, and then Uncharted Territories. I also saw that one. It was very endearing watching people look at a chart and try to relate. It's I feel like a skill that doesn't get used in improv that frequently.
It's kind of like playing 2 short form games.
Yeah.
And then doing a show based on that. This is actually an idea that we just randomly, in my 201 class, I think
Yeah.
towards the end of it, we were like, hey, I'm into charts and graphs. And then I had like 3 people who were like, yeah, I work in stats. Or, hey, I'm in charts and graphs.
Yeah.
I love a pivot table. And we're like, hey, we should pitch a show about charts and graphs. And that's kind of what
Yeah.
birthed this show. It took us a year and a half to get it off the ground, but we
takes time.
finally did it.
Nice.
And we just kind of found a really cool game where the first part is like, it's like one of those games where you're the expert. Hey, you're
Yeah.
the expert on the subject you know nothing about. Tell me why it works. And the second half is kind of like, I call it reverse Family Feud.
Okay.
Because instead of giving the category and guessing the 5 things, you're given the 5 things, you have to guess the category.
Oh, like what is the linking thing that relates them all?
Exactly.
That makes sense. When I was in high school, we had these questions on tests called odd duck questions, where you were given 4 things and you had to relate 3 of them and say why one wasn't related. But the teacher never actually had a specific idea in mind. He wanted to see how people's brains would bring things together, and that kind of sounds like this.
It absolutely is. It's really fun because usually all 5 things won't connect together.
Yeah.
And if you have 1 or 2 that you're like, I'm good on these, you just pitch your idea and now your teammates have to support and justify the rest of it for you.
Yeah.
So it's a unique challenge in justification and then kind of trust in your team to support your idea.
I also often, like, improv is an art form, and I think about constraints as the art form, and one of the things that makes me laugh is the idea that, like, you really only communicate in improv in front of the audience, and so there's ways that you have to, like, pass information to other people that would be a lot easier if you could just stand there and be like, and this is what I would like to happen. But, like, because of the way that improv happens, you have to do it in these kind of, like, interesting ways.
I think that's a feeling that we've all had as performers, where you walk out with this very clear idea and you do everything you can without just saying it.
Yeah.
And you're like, this is going to happen. And then your scene partner's like, I thought you were doing this and we're going this way now. And you just have to, like, you can't stop, right?
No.
You just have to adapt to it and find what works.
Yeah, and I think it, like, really, I mean, it comes to the trust that you were talking about in your team, because it, like, improv is like going out and falling without a net and, like, constructing the net in midair and being like, okay, all of these people are also all trying to construct the same net, but we all, like, knit or weave in a different way. And so it's like trying to make sure you don't have holes with a bunch of different people, and that requires a lot of trust.
Absolutely, and I think that is what's kind of cool about Uncharted and Sac Buzz is because it's with people I had classes with.
Yeah.
It's people who have been performing together for longer than we were in Helix. Like, it's been like a year and a half, almost 2 years now, where we've all been in the same classes, and we kind of went up together. We auditioned together. We have a really unique bond that I think just really helps us take wild swings and know that someone is going to catch us.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like watching the shows, I felt like you can just tell when a team is having fun, and it feels like, I just remember, like, Sam trying to pitch something for Uncharted Territories and people being, like, laughing, but then also being like, okay, like, how are we going to make this work? Like, yeah.
Oh, yeah, like, he took Train into the band.
Yes.
Train the locomotive into Train the band, and honestly, that was such just a stroke of genius, because one of the struggles with that show is getting away from trains and penguins.
Yeah.
What are other contexts that trains and penguins exist in?
Yeah.
Because we can't have the whole show just be trains and penguins, transportation of flightless birds.
Yeah.
So I think Sam's pivot there into Train the band really helped that show a lot. And I know everyone was dying in the audience when everyone was singing Drops of Jupiter. And trying to, it was a great time. And that's actually a skill that show requires, is just getting away from the thing. Like, you have to go from, oh, this is penguins and trains. Okay, maybe it's the hockey team, the Penguins. And, there's just other ways you have to figure out how to do it.
It makes me think of, like, when people are telling stories in Helix, they don't, even though the suggestion is the same, they want you to, like, A to B to C, so that you are telling, like, a big enough array of stories that you have enough ideas to pull from.
Absolutely.
We talked about Meet Cute. Did you have narrative improv experience before doing the show?
No, but I played a lot of role-playing games.
Okay.
So it's storytelling. It's putting on a show. It's doing pop culture bits. And what's the appropriate time in a movie for X, Y, and Z to happen? So no, but also kinda. Where in the story arc does this lie? And
Totally.
I think that skill with narrative is very similar.
Hold on one second. If you're not into role-playing games or Dungeons and Dragons, you could just skip the next 30 seconds of this video. Okay, what role-playing games have you played?
So I've obviously played Dungeons and Dragons to some extent.
5e?
5th edition, yes. However, it's not my favorite.
Oh.
I prefer the Star Wars role-playing game system, or Genesis, which uses the special narrative dice. I'm also a big proponent of anything but D&D.
Okay.
So I'm a big fan of like the one-page RPGs
Totally.
and other rules light systems like Dungeon World.
Like a lot of Powered by the Apocalypse.
Powered by the Apocalypse, absolutely. So a lot of just rules light systems that focus on the moments of they have a built-in narrative impact. D&D is a little constrained for me because they don't have good rules for role-playing built in. It puts a lot of the effort on the dungeon master in Dungeons and Dragons to make the role-playing happen, whereas other systems have better
mechanics
and collaborative effort to make role-playing conducive to everyone. That's kind of the cool thing about that's why I like the Star Wars one so much. I'm a big Star Wars fan, but it's also just a very cool system to say, you got this. You're in charge. How do you think this manifests for you? And it doesn't become a GM versus player experience. It becomes a collaborative storytelling with Star Wars beats.
There is like a one-off RPG night once a month that I sometimes go to, and I played Wanderhome there.
Oh, okay, yeah, I kickstarted that.
Yeah, so Wanderhome, if you don't know, is like an indie RPG where you all play, it's like Redwall vibes kind of, but a little bit softer.
Yes.
So you all play little animals, and you each have a personality, and it's just like collaborative storytelling, basically. Oh, yeah. There's not really, like, you have a character sheet, but it's mostly like traits about you. There's not really like dice rolling or combat, and it was so lovely.
Yes. Yes, I love those types of games.
Yeah.
It's just very fun to get together with a bunch of people and just build a world and exist in a world of our own creation and just have a grand old time.
And it was like with people that I didn't know beforehand, and then after like 4 hours, after like I had played this like trickster kind of dog the whole time, and like we had like a little like hedgehog priest. It was like just such a kind of endearing experience. Okay, and then the other one that I really like is The Quiet Year. It's like a collaborative map drawing one.
I've heard of it. I have not played that one, but yes, I've heard good things.
I feel like a lot of people use it, if they're going to use it in partnership with D&D, they use it to like build a collaborative world beforehand instead of just a world that the DM is like, well, this is what we're playing in.
Absolutely. I think it's really cool when I occasionally lead a game is I build the world with my players as we go.
Yeah.
So I say, hey, we're going to a new city. Can I get a suggestion for like a tavern that exists in this place? What agricultural products exist here? And I have the players collaborate with me on building the world, and I tell them how that impacts them. But they get to set up the interesting parts. What do they want to see in a story? And that's a lot like improv.
Because you get that investment and that buy-in and the sense of ownership of like a lived-in place that they get to help you create.
Absolutely.
3 hours later.
Okay, you can come back now. Welcome back. Maybe someday you'll watch that 30 seconds, but like no pressure. We were gonna play a game. I was thinking about an adaptation of Uncharted Territories where we each give each other like 2 like nouns basically, and we have to talk about how those 2 things are correlated. So I'm going to give you 2 things and you're going to tell me about the correlation between video streaming and cats.
Video streaming and cats. Okay, well, I mean, obviously I think the popularity of video streaming is really because of the cat videos.
Oh my God,
right?
yeah.
You think about what the earliest internet memes. Can I has cheeseburger? Keyboard cat. I'm a kitty cat. Like, there's so many cat-based memes.
Yeah.
That became the avenue, the vector for the advent of streaming. You know, I could see there's probably like dozens of TikTok live streams right now.
Totally.
Someone just hanging out there with their cat.
Yeah.
And I think it really goes back to like the ancient Egyptians. They worship cats. It's in our blood.
It's in our blood.
To worship cats, and they've taken over the streaming world. It's all cat mind control. I'm telling you, it's one and the same.
I'm okay with it, you know. I have a cat. She's great.
I got two. Ooh, let's go rocket ships and buttons, like the pin buttons from like a campaign.
Yeah. Okay, so I think that we can trace it basically through the like airline wings. So as like campaigns existed before rocket ships, and so people understood the delineation of something by wearing a campaign button.
Sure.
And so then you also get like name tags at grocery stores, and then when we had airplanes or like trains, then you get name tags, and then eventually that turned into wings because like Southwest used to give out the little wing button.
Sure, yeah.
And so I think that like by the time it got to NASA, they were like, oh my gosh, what if these wings actually like took us off? Like where could we go if these wings were useful and human-sized and carried humans instead of just existing on our lapels? I would like to hear about the relationship between glitter pens and giraffes.
Glitter pens and giraffes. Unfortunately, this is a kind of sad relationship.
Okay, I'm ready.
Glitter pens really took off in the early 2000s.
Okay.
I think that their downfall came because of too many giraffes were getting into the glitter.
Okay.
And it was causing health issues for the giraffes. You know, that long throat. It takes a long time for glitter to process a giraffe. The increase in microplastics.
Oh my God, totally.
It just wasn't good for the giraffe population, both in the wild and in our zoos. Too many kids dropping the glitter pens while trying to sketch a giraffe. And that's why giraffe population is back on the rise, and glitter pens have been
on the down.
Unofficially banned across the world. Okay, let's do Legos and motorcycles.
Well, they're both dangerous objects, right? Like you step on a Lego and you drive a motorcycle, and they're both. So I think I would talk about the likelihood of children who played with Legos to be adults who ride motorcycles.
Oh, you think there's a high correlation there between early childhood risk-taking behaviors?
Yes. Through playing with Legos specifically.
Yeah, through playing with Legos specifically. Oh.
They dreamed too much. They built too many Legos. I mean, specifically, I was going for they left them on the floor. I guess we're considering a risk-taking behavior for the purposes of this argument. And then they just they continued to do risk-taking things by.
No,
right.
I get it.
Thank you.
There's definitely an adrenaline rush when you finish a set. And
I
I can see that being a thing that just gets you hooked on what's my next thrill, man.
Well, thank you so much for joining me.
Of course, thank you for having me. I enjoyed this.
If you want to see Jordan in more shows, you can go to saccomedyspot.com/calendar. Bye!